What's good, y'all? Kyle Loftus here, and today we are doing a cinematography breakdown of the latest music video I directed and DP'd, Say It, by Conroy. Without further ado, let's dive on in.
I left it in my headspace, keep it in my mind how I told you not to kiss me. I'm mad that you're not mine now. You risk all our memories, lying about your feelings loud. Over my head it went, we were holding back. Tell me your true feelings now. Tell me what you think. I'll tell you too. Let's just let it be until the truth. We know the same thing, too scared to talk our minds now. I didn't wanna say it, you didn't wanna say it, but we both know we wanna come back. Pretending not to hear it, ignored what we've been feeling, but we both know we wanna come back. I go, you stay, you leave, I wait for you to lose track. I didn't wanna say it, you didn't wanna say it, but we both know we wanna come back. I'm bored of all the mystery. You keep on walking round town, asking if they've seen me.
Alright, y'all, so the setup for this video, we used an Aperture 300D, 2 Aperture 120D, and 4 Pavo Tube 6Cs, as well as a hell of a lot of practicals. So let's dive on in. Oh yeah, the camera was Ursa Mini Pro G2. Lenses, we used a Canon 16-35 and a Tamron 24-70. Those were the lenses. The camera was Ursa Mini Pro G2. Not sure if I said that. And as for stabilization or other elements we also used a tripod, and we used a Dana Dolly 4-foot system. So that is the gear we used to shoot this video. Now let's actually talk about the cinematography. Alright, so this video we have two very simplistic setups. So these are all about having realism. This is not about creating some super moody, colorful music video, right? Like, we just want to further enhance and complement the realism of these scenes. And so what we did is we utilized a ton of practicals. So as you can see in this beautiful, beautiful location, Etoile Boutique, shouts to them for letting us shoot there. It's got a ton of vintage antique stuff. Like this, it's a boutique store, so there's a ton of old chairs, desks, lamps, mirrors, all this kind of stuff. So there's just already a ton of character in this room and in this space. So we moved some things around to create more space for the band to fill in there. And then we grabbed all the lamps we could and funneled them into that scene, right? So we have a bunch of practicals that are lighting up the scene, acting as motivating lights. These are the lights that are creating our scene, lighting our environment. And for the most part, they really were. We did use a key at about 30%. It was my 300D Mark II, which I'm using right now. But we only had it about 30%. We wanted really, really soft light. It was set to a daylight balance, and so I didn't want to mix colors too much, right? We have a daylight balance. We have all of these lamps in here set to tungsten, so I wanted to be careful with that. So I had it very, very light on there, just so we can get some more fill, because Casey is front and center, so we want to make sure that she is lit properly and accordingly, and she looks really, really good. And we did just that. Okay, now talking about the other lights we implemented. So we used an Aperture 120D. I set that in the very back room, and I did that to, again, add more depth and more texture into the scene. So we're lighting the side wall here, and we're lighting through kind of those, like, I guess it was like a old like changing system, right? Like, didn't people change in front of those like in the 1800s, something like that? Anyways, light is shining through there, and light is shining on the back wall. I have a hood on as the modifier for the 120D. And so what this is doing is, again, it's creating another layer with light. So again, we can see it's not just this abyss of blackness in the back, right? There's more light, more texture there. So again, it's creating more depth in our image, which makes it more cinematic, more dynamic, and more interesting. On top of that, we pumped in a ton of haze. I wanted this to feel very vintage and almost like there's just a bunch of muck and dust and particles in the air, because they're at this old antique store, and it's 1973 again. So really wanted to have a bunch of haze. We have this awesome airy feeling. Additionally, we shot everything with the Black Pro Mist 1/8. So again, softening up the images a bit more, softening up the skin tones, blooming out the highlights, and just creating this really, really nice vintage feel. Lastly, in regards to lighting for this scene, we used 4 Pavo Tube 6Cs. I set them to tungsten balance, and then I hid them within the scene. So 2 of them, if you can notice, they're actually hiding inside objects. I was able to get one inside a basket and one inside this, like, I don't even know, just like a old ceramic sculpture. And so they're in there, and it's just creating a unique and additional source of light that, again, is just creating awesome bokeh, awesome contrast, great depth, separation, hair light, like so much goodness. And then lastly, I used one right by the boots and kind of the record that's right in front of that wood changing piece. Because again, a lot of those slits, kind of like blinds, were facing down rather than open or up. So the light wasn't able to really shine straight through, right? Anything that's shining through was kind of going down. So I wasn't getting a ton of light through that wood piece. On the side, sure, but through the wood, no. So what I did is I added that last Pavo tube there and just shined it up. So again, it's kind of allowing a little bit of light there. So again, we don't have this just dull, boring, ugly, oscuro, dark black background. We've again got all this light, all this separation, and this really, really warm, vibrant image. And I just really love what we got here, guys. We did a couple takes with the camera locked on the Dana Dolly, literally just pushing in and out. And then we did some shots handheld. Again, I just vibed off the music and flowed in and out accordingly. And that's how we shot that scene. Now our next final and last scene, we shot Casey on the couch. So Casey got this awesome outfit from a clothing brand she was partnering with for the video, but it was all orange, and the couch we were shooting on was orange. So what we did is we bought this super retro groovy lime green blanket and brought that in, or it was a sheet, better yet, very, very thin, and we set that on the couch. So it feels again like this 70s vibe, like I feel like everyone had that grandma that put the plastic cover over her couch and never took it off. So it's like, what's the point? You never got to enjoy the couch, but you get what I'm saying. So it just further emphasized that feeling. We put that lime green piece on there to really separate her from the couch and just create really, really complementary colors in a complementary scene. So again, as you're noticing too, is we implemented a bunch of flowers, and we had these oranges in there as well. So we have different shades of orange, we have different shades of green. So we're just getting a really, really vivid, colorful, and complementary image. As for the key, we just moved that a little to the side. So we got this nice side light hitting Casey. So, this is kind of the setup right here. Light at a side light, pointed down at a 45, hitting her. That was essentially the lighting setup that we used for that scene. We didn't use any other lights to necessarily key Casey. No backlight. She was very close to the wall. I did try to get a little hair light in there, but it wasn't working. We were lighting the wall too much as well. So no hair light for this scene. And the other Pavo tubes, again, we just used to fill in the space. So I had one in that sculpture, I had one in another piece nearby, and then I had 2 on the sides, just again adding a little bit of that warm tungsten color into the scene, filling the scene a little bit, and just really, making sure that it feels cohesive with the other one, that they really go well together. Again, we pumped in haze to, again, create more of a soft and cinematic image, and that with the complementary 1/8 Black Pro Mist really, really bloomed out those highlights and made for some really, really nice, groovy, buttery skin tones that I love. Everything was shot pretty much in 23:9:8 for a 23:9:8 timeline, 4K. I'm not sure, guys. I think that's pretty much it. Again, guys, very, very simplistic in regards to, the lighting, the setup, and the cinematography style. But again, I think this video goes to show, one, the importance of location. If you can find an incredible location, you don't have to do much. Again, with Etoile Boutique, we didn't have to do much. It was just so beautiful as is on the inside. All we had to do was bring in light that complements the scene and what's already there. So location, guys. And again, really make sure that you're planning ahead, pre-production. Before we went into this shoot, you know, I don't own a Dana Dolly. I didn't rent it just for the hell of it. I rented a Dana Dolly because I knew I specifically wanted to use it with this music video, and I specifically wanted to make this video cohesive with this push in and pull out shot, this dolly shot that we're gonna see and use throughout the video that gives it this fluidness and wholeness, right? I knew that ahead of time. We had a location scout. We knew what the location looked like ahead of time. I did a lighting diagram before we got there. I knew how I wanted to light the scene. Again, guys, the pre-production is just gonna allow you to feel more free-flowing the day of. So when we get there on set, I get to just play around with the lights, right? I make minor adjustments and tweaks and say, what can I do with these pavo tubes? Maybe I can put them inside objects. You know, if I just showed up on set and I had to light this whole environment and figure everything out right then and there, I might never have done that because we were behind on time and we're rushing through things. You know, so again, guys, location, location, location. Pre-production is everything. Without it, you know, you're kind of screwed on production, in my opinion, where you can only grow and go so far. You know, you can't just continually do music videos on the fly, show up day of, and you just run and gun it. If you really want to scale up and create better content that really captivates audiences, really need to start implementing that pre-production. Can't emphasize that enough. All right, y'all, I think that is it. If there's anything I missed, I'm sorry. Feel like an asshole if I did. Drop a comment or a question below. Would love to get back to you guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see y'all in the next one.